Good afternoon. Well, I'm not sure what's going on now. Yeah, it is practice week. I'm trying to figure out all this stuff, but I think I'm in. Kind of starting out this week trying to figure this stuff out. I am Ghost Mostly of Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. And I'm not sure if I got in this off of the thumbnail I posted or not. I'm not really sure. I guess I'll figure it out later today. I am going to try to get this 2 hours today. It took me a half an hour to get online yesterday, and then when I looked it over, the chat did not come through. I should probably type. Actually, to there we go. Welcome to afternoon chat. I'm not really sure what all I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out by the end of the week. And by next week, we'll have it up and running smooth. But I'm going to stream every day and find all the kinks and work the kinks out. And eventually, I will build a chat room for you guys to come in and chat. For right now, I got no clue what I'm doing. But eventually, it's all going to get sorted out. I don't have a production staff. I don't have, actually, I can pull this up a little bit. I don't have a makeup artist. So if you're looking at me in high definition, I apologize. It's going to take me a while to sort through all this stuff. I didn't make the same mistakes I did yesterday, at least not so far. We'll see how it works out. I'm watching the news to see who the Lions cut today. That's what's going on with my life. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm a Lions football fan, and I'm looking forward to the regular season. So that's what I'm watching today. They got the final cut down to the 53-man roster today. So, but you guys, it's my understanding that you can access the chat through your phone or via computer. Or if you have like one of these brand new smart TVs, I guess you can do it on TV. I would think that'd be a pain in the butt using the remote control, but you have to go to YouTube and download the Discord app in order to be able to chat in the chat room. I think you can just watch on TV without entering into the chat, but you would have to activate your chat on the TV so that you could see it scrolling on your TV screen. I guess I could try doing that on mine, see if it would work. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I connected mine. See if that'll work. But I'm just going to take a couple of years and build a community here and see how long it takes. Everything is subject to change depending on what you guys want. I created the media company, and I don't really want to shoot videos. I just wanted to do the live stream chat so I could interact with people while I'm sitting here on my couch. That's the only thing I can point out to you is my perspective from my end of the couch where I'm sitting, you know. I believe this goes worldwide. So hopefully we'll get some people from other countries in here from time to time and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that the chat will stay on the video so that people can look back through it and see what was typed in, as well as hear what I have to say. Basically, I'm figuring I'll be reading chats from you guys and responding to the ones that would involve me or something that I know about. But I don't want to put my thumb on the scale and go one way or another as far as a topic. I did list this under news and politics, but I'm probably going to end up under people and blogs or some, whatever category I find the audience wants to talk about, I guess. But I'm not going to put out any other content other than the live stream. During the course of the week, I'll get everything set up so that you guys can get what you want out of this. Everything is, I'm open to change. If you want me to change the hours, I'll change the hours. You want me to change the name, I'll change the name. I used to write song lyrics for a band, and I ghost wrote the lyrics, and I used the alias Ghost Mostly. And I decided to create the channel and went down and filled out the paperwork and created the LLC for Ghost Mostly Media. But my whole point was to create a chat room and allow people to talk amongst themselves as well to me and in the world. I think people have the right to be heard, especially with all the crap going on in our country right now. Things be changing rapidly. I'm in Southwest Michigan. I got a couple of grown kids that I'm real proud of. Semi-retired now that I'm starting this channel. I guess you can call it a job. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not hawking anybody else's products on here. I'm not trying to manipulate you or asking you to do anything. I did create a Patreon page, but I set the level at like $5 on it. It's dirt cheap because I'm not expecting to get rich doing this. I'm just expecting to survive. Years ago, I used to chat on my computer back in the day, and I really enjoyed it. We used to listen to music and get in the chat room, and you got to meet people from all over the country, and I liked it. But, as I got busier in my life, I ran out of time to chat, and now those chat rooms no longer exist. So I thought, why not create one and see what people want? I can post videos or do whatever I want with the channel, but I figured the best way to figure out what I want was to contact people and see what people want. I don't have the clue as to how to market this stuff, so I'm figuring I'll leave that up to YouTube. I figure they're the best at running their platform, and I figure I'll give them a week to sort it out and analyze and figure out where this show will fit in the algorithm, and then they'll send it out. The worst that can happen is I don't get any viewers, and it's all right. I'm going to give it a couple 3 years. I'll work on this and see if I can't build up some type of a following, but that's about it. The only other thing I got going on in my life is the basics: grocery shopping, doing household chores, visiting with my friends and family. When I was working in Vegas. I was in the casinos doing table games. Met a lot of people, and I was kind of hoping that I could hook up with some of those people again in an atmosphere where I'm not taking their money this time. Of course, I'm not giving them money this time either, so we'll see. See how it goes. I'm noticing a slight delay. It's got to be under 30 seconds. I can scratch my chin and then look up the TV and see myself scratch my chin again. So, it's not much more than 30 seconds on the delay. I did not set any restrictions on the chat. Don't have any moderators. I figure I do the moderating myself. But, we'll see if I ever get any people in here or not. This particular broadcast, I probably screwed it up somehow because it told me I had 2 waiting, and now it says I got 1 person in here. So I don't know what I did wrong. I'll figure it out. And during the course of the week, I'll iron all out, the problems that I have with the stream, and I'll fix them as I find them, and hopefully create a decent chat room so that you guys can talk. I'm not interested in getting famous. I'm not interested in being a star. And I'm not interested in selling anything. So it's not a hustle. I know, strange for this day and age. Whole country seems to be on the take, but not me. I'm not for sale. You can't bribe me. None of that stuff. Yeah, I just heard news this morning that our government wants to start buying percentages into private business. Bad news is that's communism, when the government owns private businesses. They start out as a small owner, and then they take control, and eventually they get the whole thing. That's called communism. It's not a free market system. The government shouldn't be bailing out these companies, and they shouldn't be buying into these companies. If the company fails, let them fail. But that's just my opinion. And I'm just a guy sitting on his couch, so you know, take it as it is. I don't understand why all of a sudden we got to have troops on the streets and we got to be buying up private businesses with taxpayer money. That seems pretty criminal, if you ask me. I think it's a very slippery slope when you start doing that. Uh, it seems to me that the private ownership should not want the government involved. I don't understand why they would want government to own a percentage of their business other than to get basically a free loan, an interest free loan. And most of these corporations ain't paying for squat anyways. So I don't understand where they're coming from. But I do know that it's greed that are controlling these corporations. And if they was not a way for them to make money off it, they wouldn't be doing it. So they've got something planned. Myself, I got nothing planned. I'm creating this channel. This is it. This is as far as I'm going. I have been looking into the possibility of using AI for a chat room, but that would be years from now. I don't think AI is ready to interact with people on the front line, basically. I think it's more of a back room or an add-on at this point. I don't. I don't think AI is going to take control as fast as some people think. I think it'll be a part of our lives, but not totally. I don't think. I think the first thing that's probably going to happen is people are going to start losing their jobs to robots and computers, but that's been ongoing anyways. So it's going to progress. I know that the country doesn't manufacture anymore. It's more of a tourist economy, as far as I can tell. To me, but I also know that tourism is down now due to the prejudices that our government is currently milking. But this is a change for me. It's still the basic. It's like I look at it like I'm inviting you guys into my living room to have a conversation. Uh, with that said, please act accordingly. But I don't want to censor the stream or censor the chat in any way, and I don't want to force you guys to talk about topics you don't want to talk about. But that's just me, you know. We'll see what you guys want when you start coming in and watching the chat. I'm figuring just to go with YouTube's terms of service. Whatever they are is fine. As long as you're not getting me in trouble with YouTube, I'll let you say anything you want to say. Even if you're disparaging me personally, I don't care. I got thick skin. I can take it. I dealt with the public for so many years. I look at it this way. At least we're not at a blackjack table and I'm not beating you out of, hundreds of dollars or anything like that, like I used to in the old days. Yeah, I look a little different. Facial hair, long hair. When I was in the casino business, I had short hair and was clean shaven most of the time. Yeah, I smoke a lot of cigarettes. I'm using them to cut down on my marijuana consumption. And then I smoke the marijuana to cut down on my cigarette consumption. So the point is, I get to smoke whenever I want. I like it that way. But I've made it a habit to try to pamper and spoil myself with whatever I decided I wanted throughout the course of my life. I think that's how I ended up in Vegas. I wanted the action. I wanted to see all the shows and all the culture that was available in Vegas. Now I live in Southwest Michigan, and I don't even go to see a movie anymore. I stream everything. And I basically just use YouTube because I don't like any of the other platforms. I was on Prime Video the other day, and even they got commercials. HBO Max had commercials. I'm sick of commercials. With YouTube, I pay the $14 a month. I got no commercials. So that's what I watch. Yeah. It's probably going to be real lonely in here this week. Just getting started. Might get one or two people in the 2 hours, you know, but it'll build up eventually. It'll go because people want to talk. People want to have their voice heard. I was thinking about the possibility of uh, expanding and getting other chat rooms, you know, like a morning chat and an evening chat and a late night chat. But I'm not interested in doing those myself. I'm figuring 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I think that's plenty. Looking forward to connecting with people and getting to know a bunch of people all over the country again. My time I spent in Vegas, I probably met at least 100 people a week for 30 years. So I kind of miss that. Kind of miss talking to people every day. So hopefully this will take care of my problem and take care of yours as well. As I don't understand why the chat rooms died, but I remember Yahoo chat, but that's, you know, probably 30, 40 years ago. Uh, Figure well, the internet really came on in the late 80s. That's when people first started getting computers. Now everybody's got a computer in their hand, you know, in their phone. So we'll see how it works out. But I'm going to invest some time in it. I got nothing better to do. So hopefully, we'll build a following. I'm supposed to get likes and subscribers and all that crap, but you know, I really don't pay too much attention to that. You know, I figure you guys will do what you're supposed to do. I'll do what I'm supposed to do, and eventually it'll all work out. We'll get somewhere together, but I'm not going to sweat it. It's just like this live stream. All I can do is put in the 2 hours, and then after it's over with, then I can watch it and see where I screwed up, what I did wrong, and then I'll try to fix it by tomorrow, and then we'll try again. By the end of the week, I'll have it, and it'll all work. I think YouTube's got this set up pretty easy. It seems easy, anyways. I don't know. Maybe I'm still doing a dozen things wrong, but we'll sort it out eventually. Uh, I'm just going to sit here on my couch for 2 hours, 5 days a week. Yesterday, I went for a walk after the 5 o'clock chat. Oh, I should talk about that. The hours I set for the chat are 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, if it turns out that you guys want me an hour earlier or an hour later, I can adjust the times, do what's necessary to please the audience. I'm not interested in having guests on for a podcast, or I think you guys, the chat room, should be the guest. And I think you guys should be the guest stars. That's why I went with the name Ghost Mostly. You need to pretend like I'm not even here. Let the audience that is using the chat determine what the chat's going to talk about. I don't want to put a thumb on the scale, as they say. Few things of note that I noticed in the news this morning. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. And I figure she'll probably do the Super Bowl halftime report or show this year. I saw some people chatting on TMZ saying that the NFL should give Taylor Swift a jersey. If she's pulling in the fans for him, why not? I don't really watch the Chiefs anymore. I used to a little bit, but I prefer the Lions. It's our local team here, and I probably supported them since the mid 70s. Probably 75, 76. Goes to show you how old I am, but don't tell nobody. It's a secret. I did go out to Vegas and spent a lot of money betting on Detroit over the years, and lost a lot of money betting on Detroit over the years. I started out betting when they had Billy Sims as a running back. Then for the Barry Sanders years, that's when I started getting into fantasy football. I don't do fantasy football anymore. It's too mainstream now. It's not any fun. I horse around on the PS4 a little bit and play games, but I'm not interested in buying a PS5. Although I heard the price on them just went up because of the tariffs. And I play a game called Stellaris, and I just play against computer players, or my son and I play online together, my youngest son. But, he's busy all the time, so we're lucky to play once a month, if that. I like the Stellaris, but it's a very complex game. And every time I start a new game, I end up having to log like 70, 80 hours before I win. And that's, a little too involved for most weeks. I don't want to put that much time in on a video game. I used to play Destiny back in the day. I really liked that. And of course, I did the Call of Duty and all that stuff. But I got tired of the first person shooters. It's like Grand Theft Auto. How many times do you want to drive a car? It gets old to me. I prefer something, that you can build or create. A little more micromanaging is necessary, than just performing. And I don't have any pets. I got two boys, two sons, and I got a granddaughter. Granddaughter's 17 now, and she's really special. I know my opinion of her is biased, but I'm okay with that. The 4 o'clock deadline today for the NFL to cut down to the 53-man roster. And then you got to wait a couple of days to see who clears waivers and can hit their practice squad. They allow another 16 on the practice squad, but the 53-man roster for the Lions this year is awesome. Good players can't make the team. You got to be great in order to make the team with the Lions. They've got the bar set pretty high. And I expect them to go undefeated this season, 17-0, until I see anything that changes my mind. As far as their division opponents, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago, I think they're going to get shut out. I see the defense has improved, and I am expecting the offense to put up 50-point games against division opponents because they know them so well. So I think they'll sweep the division again this year. That's what they did last year. Some of these quarterbacks in the NFC North, unproven, like Caleb and J.J. McCarthy, they got to prove themselves to me. I got to see that they can play, and I haven't seen it yet. And then Jordan Love, I got a very low opinion of Jordan Love. I think he, my personal opinion, I think he throws up jump balls. And I think jump balls thrown into the secondary of the Lions is a mistake because these guys are all ball hawks, and I expect them to be a scoring threat every time they're on the field. I think their safeties, was it Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch? I think these guys are looking to pick the ball off, not just knock down the pass. And they can both run. Yeah, the defense for Detroit's going to be vastly improved this year. Vastly improved. It's going to be, I'd say, within the top 2 defenses in the league. Top 2. And their offense will be number 1. There ain't nobody that can stop their offense. I was saying on here yesterday that their running back room is 4 deep. And the players they got at running back could start at any other team. They got a new kid named Sione Vaki. I'll be watching for him this year. I think he's going to have a breakout season, even from the bench. When they put him in, he's going to do great things. I look for Jared Goff to have basically a perfect season. When I look at him move in the pocket, he reminds me of Joe Montana. Plain and simple. And their starting wide receivers, the top three receivers, they're all number ones as far as I'm concerned. Jameson Williams is, just lightning fast. Everybody's got sure hands. St. Brown is unbelievable. Sometimes you can go the whole game and not see him drop a pass. And this new kid they got, Isaac Tesla, this kid looks to be great to me. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. He's got the moves of a number one wide receiver. And I think he's earned the number 3 spot on the team. So I expect to see him out there quite a bit. But Dan Campbell is the type of guy, I think he gets the most out of his players. He just seems to be not just motivate them, but to train them. Everybody's, all the prognosticators are talking about Detroit should take a step back from last year's 15-2 season. I don't see it. I see an improvement, and on the defensive side of the ball. So I expect them to go 17-0 until another major injury happens and somebody goes down. I don't see that changing. But that's just my opinion. I wouldn't bet on it. But if I'm standing in my front yard and Dan Campbell comes walking by and says, "Follow me," I'm going to follow him. Okay. I can't see any other way to go. I mean, the guy's a born leader. And he talks straight. He don't blow smoke up your skirt. To me, that has value. That's the kind of guys I always enjoyed working for back when I was one of them worker types. It's going to be interesting to see this chat room grow and see who all gets in it and what age group they're in and what they want to discuss on a daily basis. I'm hoping that it stays, like G-rated. I'd like to. I'm working on my language. I saw that I made 3 mistakes yesterday. I dropped an F-bomb. And, I'm going to try to clean that up, try to present myself respectfully, But nobody's perfect, But hopefully Ghost Mostly Media will take off and it'll grow and we can build a community. There's a couple of guys that I follow online and I look at the communities that they've built up, and they're pretty impressive. Probably the main guy that influenced me and got me to start this was Tom Grassi. Don't know the guy, but, he does a Friday night Q&A, and I like to have a beer with him. He's very entertaining. I enjoy his interactions with people, and he seems to be a nice guy. But he's got, 800,000+ subscribers now. I mean, his is just huge. You get into his chat room and you don't have time to chat because the chat's just moving lickety split. It's flying off the top of the screen. You can't even keep up with it. But he does a pretty good job. As far as football goes, I don't really follow him because of the Packers. I follow Tom because of the live chat, the way that he interacts with people. As far as the Packers go, I got very little respect. I don't think they're that good. They haven't been in decades. Um, I was not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I was not a Brett Favre fan. You know, those guys didn't do it for me. I liked a couple of the players they had back in the day. You know, but not their quarterbacks. I thought that Brett Favre took too many risks. I have a more of a conservative nature, I guess. You know, just throwing into double coverage doesn't seem to be the way to go if you want to be successful in the NFL. But back in those days, the Lions were their whipping boy, and that's probably why I don't like Green Bay. Be honest with you, you know. But I do watch Tom Grossi during the playoffs. He just calls the game, man. It's very entertaining to me. But I follow a guy that does broadcast all the Lion games too. Mike Kimber is his name. Uh, I don't know. He's hooked up with some chat company or something, but yeah, I follow him whenever the game's not on a TV channel that I can get. I'd rather watch Mike. I like the way he reacts. He's biased, and he lets you know he's biased, and it's funny. Yeah. He was damn near in tears when they cut Hendon Hooker because he was a Hendon Hooker fan uh, uh, prior to the Lions drafting him. I thought that was pretty funny. He took it hard. He did not want to see him get cut, you know. And it reminds me of me. I get emotionally involved with the players on the team because I root for them, you know. But I'm excited about this football season coming up because without football, life's boring to me. But, you know, I'm not busy. I'm not running around working a job, and my kids are raised and gone, you know. I did talk to both of them this weekend, but not on the average, you know what I mean? Well, I also live halfway across the country from my kids. They're both still out in Vegas. I came back to Michigan when I retired. This is where I was from originally, and this is where the core of the family is. My father specifically, I'm spending a lot of time visiting with him. It's nice. We go out. We do a family breakfast on Tuesday mornings, and you know, some weeks there's 9 of us at breakfast. You know, it's nice to get a chance to talk and visit with everybody and find out what's going on with their kids and what they're all doing. That kind of shit warms my heart the older I get. And I'm learning as I go on this. Yesterday, I had my phone sitting out here and it kept ringing. And so I took care of that. So I don't have the phone around. So I'm not going to be interrupted. Yeah. I put a sign on the front door said, "Do not disturb, podcast in progress." Uh, See if somebody will respect that and not knock on the door. But, you know, for the most part, I'm just learning this as I go. I'm not sure I've even got a thumbnail for this broadcast posted. I I scheduled it this morning. I scheduled today's chat this morning, but when I went to click into it, I couldn't figure out how to get into it. So evidently, when I schedule something, I don't know. I thought that I could just click on the thumbnail and it would take me right to the go live button, and it did not. So that's something else I'll have to sort out by tomorrow. But I could be running this whole podcast without having a thumbnail up on YouTube, as far as I know right now. We'll see. I'm going to go the whole 2 hours today. Let it go, see what happens. Worst can happen is I sit here and talk to my computer for 2 hours, look like I'm insane. But it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'll get to a point where YouTube monetizes me eventually. I guess I got to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours or something. I'm not sure. It'll all come work out in the long run. So I'm not gonna sweat it. Yeah, I'm drinking a Gatorade. Doctor's orders. She said I need more electrolytes, so drinking one of them a day. And the older you get, the more you listen to the doctor, the more you want to keep on staying alive. I guess seems to be working out that way anyway for me. Yeah. My two sons are living in Vegas and doing quite well. I'm very proud of them. And I'm also proud of the fact that they're not in the casino business like I was. Casino business is it's pretty cutthroat. I think, honestly, I think the casinos were better when the mob ran them. Seriously. The mob treated you better than these bean counters with their college degrees. Trust me when I tell you that. You know, the mob, their whole thing is as long as you didn't steal from them and you came into work every day, you were golden. They treated you like you're a king. You come in on your day off with your parents and they buy you all dinner. You know, corporate America don't do that, but the mob used to. You know. No, I'm not pro crime. Don't get me wrong. I'm an anti crime guy, but I'm just saying uh, they treated their employees better. Corporations mistreat their employees. It's just ridiculous. I watch them year after year. These are publicly traded casinos, and you see their profit margin goes up 10%, but their employee wages don't go up a dime. It's actually the reverse. I see them taking benefits away and, taking some of the food away. If you're going to hire a bunch of employees, I think you should feed them well. Just my opinion. But, I mean, why not? You're cooking in your restaurants anyways. Why not feed the employees well? Instead, these corporations are serving their employees buffet leftovers and calling it a meal. Yeah, it was a meal 2 days ago when it was on the buffet line, but it's just leftovers today. Personal opinion. You know, I probably got a lot of personal opinions. Uh, like my opinion on these politicians we got. What a bunch of crooks. They're so greedy. I'd set up a sting and I'd bust them all. They'd sell their own mother. These people have no morals, no ethics. The only thing they care about is the chance to get greedy. That's what all these tariffs are, you know. You put out a tariff and then you go to a country and you say, yeah, America's going to be buying less from you now unless you bribe me. You bribe me and I can make these tariffs go away. Yeah. The question that jumps to my mind at that point is, I know that, you know, a $400 million jet is, you know, an okay bribe. I guess that's at the top end. I wonder, what is the low end? What's the minimum bribe Trump is willing to take? I mean, could we come up with $1 million and get him to give us health care? I don't think so. I think he'd want a lot more than 1 million. But I bet you could get a pardon for $1 million. Guy seems like he's got a price that he puts on everything. All that does is make me value him less. My personal opinion. You know. No, I didn't vote for him, but you know, he is the president, so we got to put up with him for you know, three more years. But the rate he's going, you know, I'm expecting him to have more problems every day. He's creating them. He's shooting himself in the foot. You know, this whole economy thing, it's all his errors, you know. And he's doing it so that he can, you know, build a new Trump Tower in Vietnam. That's nice, you know. But, you know, it's not just him. It's all of Congress. They're the ones that are allowing him to do it. And it's the corporations that are, you know, bending the knee to him, giving him money. You know, I saw all those inauguration photos, all those billionaires. Now, I know a little bit about billionaires, having worked in Vegas for 33 years. Let me tell you something. A billionaire can't do a 40-hour work week. They can't. They got to go golfing, and that's 5 hours. Okay. Unless you got a private course, you know, you get it down to 4 hours, but it's still a big chunk out of your workday. All of these billionaires that he's got in his cabinet and stuff, they'll all be gone right after the midterms. All of a sudden, they're going to be too busy. If you're a billionaire and all your buddies are going to Cancun, guess what? You're going to go to Cancun. You're not going to be Johnny on the job. Okay? A billionaire cannot work a 40-hour work week. They can come in for 2 hours a day. Okay? But that's about it. That's all you're going to get out of them is 2 hours. I was working at a casino in Vegas. This is decades ago. And one of these millionaire types, he has them build a helipad so he can fly a helicopter into work. And I watched him fly that helicopter in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he was gone by noon. Okay. Couldn't stay 3 hours. Had to have that helipad, though. You know, that's a heck of a work day. Yeah. Now, billionaires can't hold down a job like you and I do. They can't pound that pavement. They can't do any of that. They're too lazy. They're too pampered. They're too spoiled. If you're stranded on a desert island with a billionaire, He's dead weight. Okay. He ain't going to carry his weight. He ain't going to carry your weight. He's not going to have your back. Right? These guys don't have any morals like we got. They don't have any ethics like we got. Okay. Look at him like a junkie. That's the way I look at a billionaire. He's like a junkie, right? Got his one hand in the till and the other hand's down his pants. Okay. Good luck getting a day's work out of that bastard. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I think that's my first foul language today. I'm trying to clean it up. I'll get it by the end of the week, I promise. Yeah, the corporations in this country, they're paying for all this crap. They bribe the politicians. The politicians roll back the safety. Politicians let them steal the money, and they want to steal too. You know, insider trading. I mean, all the way down the line. But the corporations that paid for this, they're doing stock buybacks this year. Last figure I heard was like $1.1 trillion in stock buybacks this year. Right? They're buying that stock back. Next thing you know, Trump's going to take over the banking, and they'll lower the interest rate. It'll send inflation through the roof. You look at these dictatorships that do that, and they got 80% inflation. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, I don't know what's next for Trump. His next meeting with Putin could cost us more money. That's the way I look at that. He had the Helsinki hand job. Followed that up with the Alaska ass kissing, right? What's next? Will he spit or will he swallow? Okay. This is the type of stuff we're getting from these guys. It looks to me like Trump cut a deal to destroy the American economy on behalf of Putin. You know, you want to end that Ukraine war? I'll tell you how to do it. It's real simple. Give Ukraine 1 million drones a month for 6 consecutive months. Let them start dropping 10,000 drones a day on Russia and put them back into the Stone Age. That's going to end that war butt quick. Okay? And let them, and I'm telling you, these Ukrainians, they're good people. They're fighting. I respect them. And I'll take Zelensky any day of the week over Putin. Putin's done nothing but lie, manipulate. I saw him riding in the Beast, Trump's limo. And as far as I'm concerned, you need to take that thing apart and find the bugs he put in it. Because this guy is all up into the espionage. It's like that stupid plane they got from Qatar. Got to take that thing apart and look at every screw. There'll be so many listening devices in there. It's just stupid. All these guys do is want to get an edge on another, you know. And, you know, Trump's doing the lip service trying to get himself a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. I heard about that the same week that he bombed Iran for no reason at all. Yeah, no reason at all. You know, you don't want them to have nukes. Well, wait until they got a nuke and then just go in and take it from them. Our army's 10 times the size of theirs, and it's better equipped, right? Let them get their nuke and then go take it from them. Big deal. Problem solved. Now, these guys, they're all about building their own towers, filling their own wallets. They're not on our side. I think if they had their way, they'd bring slavery back. I honestly do. Their prejudice, it makes me sick. I just want to puke. You know, how can you be prejudiced? The United States passed the Civil Rights Act over 50 years ago, half a century, and they still want to be prejudiced? Get over it. Grow up, you know? I don't care what color somebody's skin is. I don't care what religion they are. What I care about is, are they a contributing member of society? Are they going to work every day, raising their kids, paying their taxes, same as the rest of us? All this crap that Trump is doing now, and that these Republican Congress people are allowing to happen, it's all going to come out in the wash. The next president is going to unmask the ICE agents. The next president is going to find out all the spoliated evidence from the Epstein investigation. If they have to reinvestigate, they will. They'll find it. That list of Johns that were using Epstein's Island as a hooker hotel, yeah. Now, all these people are negatives on our society. All of them. They have no redeeming value whatsoever. The redeeming value of our society is the working man. And the working man outnumbers these criminals by at least 10 to 1. If you don't believe me, do the math. 340 million people, and never more than 7% are criminal. 7%. That means 93% of us are not criminal in the least. If 93% of us are not criminal, what are we afraid of? I know the news is showing you so-and-so shot so-and-so. It's a drop in the bucket. You want to see a real test? Walk out your front door and point to the criminal. You can't. He's not there. 7% criminal at some point in their life. 7%. That's it. So the guy that steals your car when he's 20 years old doesn't stay a criminal his whole life. Eventually, he has something to lose. Eventually, he has kids. Eventually, he has a job. He has a house. Eventually, he's a good citizen. He's not a career criminal. That crap you see on TV is not real. All the good people are the same. They work, they go to school, they raise their kids, they pay their bills, they pay their taxes, they don't lie, cheat, or steal. Okay? These people that do this stuff are the 7%. And when you get to that 7% and you get a number, okay, first thing you got to do is deduct 2 million of them, because those 2 million criminals are already in prison. They're locked up. Then count the number of cops. The number of cops versus the number of criminals that are on the street. I say the cops got them outnumbered. The police forces are larger. Yes, there's 340 million people, and yes, there is 7% crime, but that crime is not what the news would lead you to believe. The news we see, they don't show you the 330 million people that did something good yesterday. They're only showing you the one person that did something bad. Okay? There's more good that goes on a daily basis than bad that goes on a daily basis in this country. And I'll even take it further. I'll tell you the same thing about other countries. When I was in Vegas, I talked to people from all over the world. They all have the same values as we do. We want better for our kids than we had. Each generation wants to improve, right? Granted, some societies they do have a different set of ethics than we have. The Russians think it's okay to bribe everybody in every business in every walk of life. I wouldn't want to live like that, but it's not that they're bad people. It's that's their culture. Those people don't want to go to prison. Those people don't want to put other people in prison. Those people aren't looking to kill you just because you're an American. Speaking of being American, I'll tell you something here. Americans are your best friends. When the crap hits the fan in this country, you have a natural disaster or something like that, it's your neighbor that you never talk to. He's the one that's going to be shoulder to shoulder with you getting out of trouble. He's the one that's going to be lending out a hand to pull you up out of the ditch. It ain't going to be your government. They don't care. They might give you a week later, they might give you a roll of paper towels when what you need is electricity. Yeah. No, these guys, you're American. I don't care what religion, what race, I don't care what city, doesn't matter. They're your best friends. They're the ones that are going to be next to you when the crap hits the fan. It's not going to be the government, and it sure ain't going to be no politician. I mean, you got maybe, I don't know, near as I can figure, you got maybe 5 of these politicians that are worth a darn. 5 out of 500 between the Senate and Congress, 535, something like that. You got maybe 5 that are good. Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders is a good guy, right? He's not going to get a vote for president because the whole Democratic Party is taking corporate bribes. The Republican Party is taking corporate bribes. When you get these politicians up in front of you, ask what corporations they represent and ask them how much they bribed them. Well, you got to be able to come up with a competing bribe, right? That's the only way you're going to get anything done in your community, is you got to be able to compete with the bribery of the corporations in your community that are bribing them to go against you. Yeah, these guys are criminal as hell, and they're never going to stop. They have no maximum amount that they're willing to steal or grift or use sleight of hand to get. No, your next door neighbor should be your best friend, because he's the guy that when the flood hits, he's the one that's going to have a boat and say, "Hey, here, take my hand. Let me pull you out of that water before you drowned." Right? Oh, every time I ever seen anything go down in my lifetime, it was the guy I least expected that offered me help. I had a friend the other day. She told me a story. She found a good Samaritan. If you look at our news, there are no good Samaritans, but she found one. She had locked her keys and her phone in her car, and she was far from home. Guy picks her up, takes her home, lets her get her spare key, drives her back to the car, no charge. She tried to give him gas money. He wouldn't take it. Okay. A good Samaritan. He's an American. She didn't know him from Adam. Met him. He's standing there looking at her cry, and he's saying, "What's wrong, honey?" She says, "I locked my keys in my car. My phone's in there. I can't even call a locksmith." He said, "Come on. I'll take you home. We'll go get your keys." And then he brings her back. Who does that? Well, I'll tell you who does that. An American does that. Okay? You go outside, you tell your neighbors you got a problem. One of them, I guarantee you, one of them is going to help you. I'm not saying that some of them ain't busy, but I'm saying that the help is there when we need it, every time we need it, but it's not coming from the government. It's not coming from the city. It's not coming from the state. It's not coming from the feds. The only thing the federal government wants from you is your tax dollars, whether they're getting that in a tariff or an income tax. Okay? That's the only thing they care about, is what can we get from you? What can we get you to pay? Right? The cost of living in this country is getting so high. I'm glad I had my kids, and I'm glad I don't have that responsibility of raising kids. When I was raising mine, they used to say it's $500,000 a year, or $500,000 to raise a kid till he's 18 or 21 or something. You know, it's probably closer to $1 million now. It's probably doubled. All I know is that, these CEOs of these corporations, they're increasing their profits every year, or they don't have a job. So if you find somebody that's been a CEO for 10 years, guess what? For 10 years, all the people under him been getting a shaft. But he's getting his bonus. And I saw this with the casinos. It was pathetic. They're making $50 million a year, and their profits go up 10% a year, or they get a new general manager, a new CEO. I always told them in the casino business, the higher up I get, the closer to the door I get, because there's just certain things I won't do. I refuse. But I have a set of ethics. I have a set of morals that I got to live by. I got to be able to look myself in the mirror. I remember going into a corporate meeting, I won't say where, and the big boss says, this employee's causing trouble. I want a paper trail on him, and in 30 days, we're going to fire him. He'll be out of here. Why? To cheat him out of unemployment? Go fire him today. If you got to fire the guy, fire the guy. Don't play games. That's why people come in with an M16, you idiot. That's why they shoot up the places, because you mistreated them for 30 days. I can't do that stuff to people. I refuse. And I tell them to their face, you're wrong. Rethink your situation. People make poor choices all the time. They don't pay any attention to the repercussions of their actions. They think, oh, I'm above all that. Well, you're not. It's just like this healthcare CEO that Mangione, or whatever his name was, shot and killed. Shot him down on the street. And if you walk by that street, there's no flowers there. Nobody put a candle there. Nobody did anything for that guy. Why? Because he was a dirtbag. Yet I saw a homeless guy 3 months ago got run down on one of the main streets here in town, and there's still flowers and candles on the corner of that street 3 months later. And he was homeless. Okay. The homeless guy gets treated better than the CEO because the homeless guy is a better person than that CEO. And I'm not trying to disparage the poor guy that got shot. I'm just saying, it looks to me like he didn't have no friends. And if you ain't got no friends, what do you got? Maybe a fat wallet, maybe a good job, but I'd rather have the friends. The friends are the ones that are going to come over and cheer you up when you're down. Yeah. These people got their values screwed up when they were raised. They didn't learn the right way to do things. They didn't learn the right way to treat people. Treat people with kindness and respect. If you're nice to everybody all the time, I guarantee you, you will like the end result. All that goodness is going to come back to you tenfold. Right? I got a memorial service I have to go to next month. And I'm actually looking forward to it. The woman that passed, she meant something to me in my life. Okay. I cared about her. I didn't have contact with her for the last 40 years, but she had value in my book. I remember the way she treated me. Okay. My personal opinion on people is to be nice to everybody and allow them the courtesy and the respect that you would your own mother, right? And I'm not saying that I can't, crack a bad joke or disparage somebody by accident. I'm a human being. I am flawed. I make mistakes all the time. Now, take a look at this podcast. It doesn't appear to be going smooth. I don't think a soul's come in it today, but that's all right. It'll happen eventually. I'll stick with it. All you got to do is be nice to people, and you'll have people around. When you're not nice to people, you're going to look around one day and there ain't going to be nobody there with you. You're going to be alone. Every time two human beings get together, they accomplish something together. A lot more than one person can do on his own. I see that in our society every day. These people that are saying America first, they got the wrong plan. America should be in the top 5, but not first. Help other people. Help other people get to your level. You've heard that story. The guy climbs the ladder of success and then pulls the ladder up behind him. Doesn't want anyone else to do good. That's these CEOs that are getting their $1 million bonuses or multi-million-dollar bonuses, and they still got minimum wage employees working for them. Think about that. How wrong is that? Toughest part about being in America is being able to afford living in America. And it's because of these money grubbing people The one that got me was the healthcare industry. I'm going to tell you right here and now, healthcare for profit does not work. I'll say it again. For profit healthcare is a mistake. I saw one a couple of years back. They came up with a cure for, I think it was hemophilia. And they estimated that the cure was going to cost $3.5 million per person. Think about that. $3.5 million, you can have a cure to what's wrong with you. That's nice to the multimillionaire, but it makes no sense to your society. If you've got the cure, it should be free. Cure all the people of that disease, of that illness. Cure them first. Then worry about making your profits. These guys, they got it all wrong. Every time you put in a new middleman and he's got to make 10% more profit than he made on that product the previous year, eventually you get to where we are now, where one day in the hospital it's going to cost you 10 grand. Good luck. Good luck getting better. You need 8 days in the hospital at 10 grand a day. Good luck having a house. You're going to have to sell it to pay your medical bills. No, for-profit healthcare is the wrong way to go. Yes, I believe in capitalism. No, I'm not a socialist. But socialized medicine makes perfect sense to me. I'm sorry that the doctors are vacationing in Cancun. They're flying around the world to go marlin fishing. Shouldn't be. We shouldn't be paying that much profit to these guys. And it's not just the doctors. It's at every level through the entire healthcare industry. The hospitals got to make money. The drug companies got to make money. The doctors got to make money. The nurses got to make money. The suppliers got to make money. It's a never ending, everybody's got to make money. You got to stop that. Someday, the United States is going to have to give its people health care. Going to have to, because they're pricing us out of it. Pretty soon, it's going to be only millionaires get health care. There won't be any hospitals for the poor people. They're just going to let you die. They don't care. They don't have a conscience. They have a checkbook, and they want to put as much money in their checking account as possible. They don't want you to have money in yours until you have to pay them. When you have to pay them, they want you to have the money, all of it, right? It's a never-ending cycle of greed. And next year, they're going to want more. They're going to want 10% more than what they made this year at your expense. Now, we should socialize medicine, get these companies to open up their books and say, no, you don't have to make $100 billion a year. You can get by with $10 million profit a year, right? But, it's the same way. I saw there's a couple of states that are talking about eliminating property taxes. They want to eliminate property taxes because the rich guy has all that property. He has to pay a lot of taxes on it. But those taxes pay for the services that we get, like our roads being plowed in the winter and repaved when they need it, and your city services, right? So you have clean parks, and clean lakes to go fish in. Uh, if they don't pay their taxes, those city services aren't going to be there. They want to take that property tax burden and put that on the man that can't afford to buy the property and say, here, you pay that. I mean, that'd be like putting a gasoline tax on a guy that's paying his electric bill. Makes no sense, does it? Right? The guy that owns the property should pay the property tax. Right? If you don't want to pay the property tax, sell the property. Let somebody else buy it. They'll pay the property tax. I'm just fed up with these criminals fleecing America. It seems like that's all they want to do. And always blaming the little guy for their problems, right? The rich people think the poor people are at fault. Plain and simple. If that guy had money, I'd like him. But he ain't got no money, so he's the bad guy. Whip on him. It's like right now I'm watching everybody picking on the transgender or the gays. And somebody said the other day that they were talking about they want to get rid of gay marriage. Why? Leave those people alone. It's the same thing with a guy that wants to own a gun. Leave him alone. Right? The guy's gay. Leave him alone. To me, it seems real obvious that you've got to allow people to be themselves and express themselves without being subject to your ridicule or judgment, right? If I'm mowing my lawn north to south and you're mowing yours east to west, why should I go over and tell you how to do yours? It's none of my business. It's your lawn. You cut it the way you want to cut it. I don't care if you pull out the old push mower and want to go at it. Go ahead. I don't care if you got a riding mower and want to go at it. Go ahead. It's none of my business. None of my concern. These people want to dictate who can be married to who can have a baby with who. It's ridiculous. You got to leave each other alone. Let people be individuals. Let them be unique. There's nothing wrong with that. Instead, you got guys like, who was the one that was just outed? Lindsey Graham. Evidently, the guy's been gay his whole life, and he just got outed. He's had to hide it for like 60 years or something. How obscene is that? Leave the man alone. If he wants to be gay, let him be gay. Who cares? It's none of my business. I don't care what you guys do. As long as you're doing your thing, don't tell me how to do my thing, right? I won't tell you how to do your thing. I don't wish anything bad on anybody. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get sick. I don't want anyone to get hardship or have hardship. But I sure do understand. I've been sick. I've been hurt. I've been through hardship. Okay? It is what it is. That's the old saying. If you find yourself standing in hell, get going. Get the hell out of there. Oh, I don't consider uh, a hardship to be permanent. I think all hardships are temporary. Uh, a lot of times you may have to relocate and change your perspective to figure out a way to get out of a problem, but all problems, there is a solution. There's some way out. It's like, this country, the way we are now, everybody's, I call it tribal or polarized. They're trying to convince people to hate each other. I'm tired of the hate. I like good old fashioned dislike. Dislike somebody, it's okay. Uh, but to hate means that I not only dislike you, but I now fear you. That's why I would hate. And fear's not good when it's not controlled. A, a little bit of fear is good. Don't walk up to a grizzly bear and try to pet it. Have some fear, right? A little dose of fear would come in handy right about then, right? But you can't let that fear control your life. And I can never go to Montana. They have bears. Well, Montana's a beautiful state, and if you don't go there, you're the fool. You're the one that's missing out. It's gorgeous. And that bear, he's not planning on eating you. Okay? Leave the bear alone, he'll leave you alone. No, people don't understand that if you let fear control your life, you're cheating yourself out of life. I remember growing up, I was 5 years old. I had a bike, big old 26-inch bike or 26-inch wheels. It was big. I was little, and I found this. It was a fast moving waterway, and it had a catwalk, just a 2x4 panel that went across, and it had two other up high that I could hold onto the handrail. And I remember I walked the bike across that, and I almost dropped the bike, and then I almost fell in, and I got to the other shore, and I had the bike, and I was dry, I was intact and safe. And I thought to myself, never do that again. I was 5. I learned a lesson that day. My fear told me that's not the way to go. Ride that bike and go around the block and go over to the bridge where the cars go across. You know what I mean? I learned that lesson because of fear, right? But I couldn't let that fear control my whole life. I have to learn to control my fears. And I think that's what the American people need to do. If you control your fear, they're not going to be able to manipulate you with a 30-minute news broadcast that makes you think that every time you go to Walmart, you're in danger. You're not. Yeah, they have had a couple of shootings at Walmart. That's a shame. But it doesn't mean you have to be afraid to go to Walmart. Control your fear and enjoy your life, and hopefully you get something good at Walmart, you know? But when you don't control the fear and your fear controls you, you cheat yourself out of life. If you're afraid to talk to a black man, you're cheating yourself. A black man might be a real nice guy. Could end up being a friend of yours for the next 40 years. You don't know till you meet him. I'm not going to be afraid of anybody. I'm not going to be afraid of anything. I'm going to control my fears and enjoy my life and allow people to share my life with me. I think that's important. The last thing you want to do is be alone your whole life. There's no value in that. There's no quality. You might be safe, but where's your quality of life? You're going to be afraid to go to a movie? I'm not. I'm going to go to the movie. You know, I go for a walk in the park all the time, all by myself. I don't take a gun. I don't even take my phone. I go for a walk. You know, that's a funny story actually. I was on a walk the other day, and a little girl's riding her bike, and her chain come off. And when I was a kid, I knew how to put a chain on a bike, so I offered to put it back on for her. So I put her chain on, and I got to thinking, it's been a minute. I ain't done this in 50 years. But, she was riding away, and I've seen her since, and she's riding a bike just fine, you know. But without me being nice and putting that chain there for her, she's got to push that bike all the way home. That ain't no fun. I just, you control your fears and then you enjoy your life and you get a quality of life. When you can't control your fears, when you're afraid of going anywhere and doing anything, they've won. All these people that brainwashed you with their TV channels, they won. They scared you into submission. You know, I'm not going to live my life like that. It's the same thing as if you can't control your fear. How are you ever going to try anything new? How are you ever going to learn something new? I had two sons, 23 years apart. My oldest, extremely conservative, and my youngest, extremely liberal. They're like almost opposites. And I think that's the way most people are. If I can't see your perspective, I need to take a second and take a look and try to see things through your eyes. That way I can understand where you're coming from and we can have a conversation. If I can't see where you're coming from, how can we have a conversation that is going to be of value? It can't be of value. It has to be cursory at that point, Now, so I honestly believe that the good guys outnumber the bad guys on this planet. On this planet, the good guys outnumber the bad guys. And if you don't believe the same, I think you need to educate yourself and maybe do a little traveling and look around. Because everywhere I go, I sit down with people and I talk with people and I break bread with people and I get along with them. They're all nice. I don't care if the guy's got a MAGA hat on or if he's holding a protest sign saying Trump should go to back to Germany, right? It doesn't matter. I can get along with all of them. As long as you're not trying to force them into doing something or manipulate them into doing something, people are pretty dang nice everywhere I go. I got a restaurant here that I go to breakfast at quite a bit. I know half their customers. I've been going to the same restaurant for 8 years. I know half their customers. I see them every week. We shoot the breeze. But if you watch TV, they're only showing you the bad stuff. They're not showing you the good stuff. The good deeds outweigh the bad because the good people outnumber the bad. It took me a few years to realize that. I remember my oldest son, he says he's bored. And he was like 13, 14. And I said, well, then get out of the house. Go do something. He says, what is there to do? I said, whatever you want to do. It's a whole town out there. We lived in Vegas, for crying out loud. You can't find something to do in Vegas. I feel sorry for you. He was a little apprehensive. He was a little afraid because he was young. I give him a good allowance. I bought him a season pass to the water park and, bought him a monthly bus pass. Go do something. Find a life. Build a life. Next thing I know, he was up at the college auditing classes. He was 13, 14 years old. Wanted to know about life. Wanted to learn. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I saw a picture of one of my relatives this morning, a little kid, first day of preschool. His mother was in tears. The kid was happy. He had no fear. Mom was afraid. My poor baby, it's going to be gone for 6 hours. Oh, no. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, that the mom was literally in tears. The little guy had a backpack that I think the backpack was as big as he was. Yeah. He was off to school, going to go make some friends, have a good time, enjoy his life. I like that. Kids got no fear. That's good. That's how you have an open mind and you can actually learn things. My youngest, he was a real bookworm. He was reading 4 books a week while he was in grade school. I was impressed by that. I just asked him the other day. He's 28 now. And I just asked him, I said, how many books a week are you reading now? He said, none. Yeah. But he does know how to read. He'll pick one up when he wants to. But that's, before the internet was invented, that's how we had to learn things, was you read them. I myself, I had a very unique life. I spent a few years hitchhiking around the country, and that was before the internet. You couldn't pull up a picture of Idaho, so I had to go to Idaho to see what it looked like. You couldn't pull up a picture of Florida, so I had to go to Florida. Which is how I ended up out in Vegas, is I traveled around. And when push come to shove and I couldn't find a job, I said, I know where there's a job. There's a job in Vegas. I can go to Vegas and go to work today. So that's what I did. That was like, I don't know, 1980, something like that. Maybe 81. And I never spent any time out of work until I retired. And even in retirement now, I'm creating work for myself with this live stream. Should be interesting to see how it grows, if it grows. But I'm going to try this for probably 3 years. I told myself when I got into it, 3 years. Give me a fair shot. If I can create an audience, I can create an audience. If I can't, I can't. But as you can see from this podcast, I don't get tired of talking, so should be interesting. But my advice to you guys is always going to just be to be nice to everybody. If you're nice to everybody you meet, you're going to make friends. When you make friends, your life has value. And I'm not just talking about like networking for business. I'm talking about real friends. The kind of guy you can go on a picnic with, or you can go fishing with, or go hunting with, friends. You establish those friendships and you can keep those for life, especially nowadays. You don't have to lose touch with somebody just because they moved out of town. Nowadays, you can pick up your phone and dial them up and FaceTime them if you want to see them, call them if you want to talk, text them if you just want to drop them a line, But to me, that's the value in life is friends, family, the relationships that mean something. Whenever people pull together, it's always going to be a plus. You're always going to come out on top. Very rare that people work together and fail. Very rare. It can happen, but generally that just means if you failed, it means you didn't have enough people involved. If you get more people involved, you're sure to succeed. It's just a matter of time. I look at it like if you're trying to build a house, you can't do that alone. Not most. You're going to need some help, And if the guy's helping you, it doesn't matter what religion he is, what race he is, what age he is. It doesn't matter. What matters is that, he's willing to work with you. You're willing to work with him. I say him, could be her. I don't mean to be sexist. Although, in my defense, I will say if I were writing a book, I would say his or her. But because I'm talking, I'm saying his. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be sexist. It probably has something to do with my age and the way I was raised or something that I always refer to it. It's like my guitar was always a woman. It was always a her. It was never a him. I don't know why, but that's the way I felt about it. It's like a generalization, I guess, an easy generalization, But I honestly believe that the more people you can collaborate with, the better value your life has. I see people, especially seniors, they're off by themselves. Most of their friends have passed, then they take a fall and they're laid up and nobody comes to visit. Nobody comes to visit because they're not surrounding themselves with their friends. If you're surrounded with friends, somebody always comes to visit. Somebody does a wellness check on you. Somebody cares enough to take a couple of minutes out of their day, Comparing the 2 days, I think my hair looks a little bit better today. Yesterday, it was kind of like flatter. Wish there was some way I could get rid of the reflection out of my glasses. so you could see my eyes a little bit better, but I don't know. They appear to be reflecting the computer screen in front of me. Maybe if I wasn't using a laptop but had just a regular camera. I'll work on this stuff during the course of the week. I'll do a lighting and sound check and all that stuff. I did create a Patreon page for anybody that wants to support the channel. I probably don't have it active yet. So I set all this stuff up a couple of months ago, and I had a bunch of life going on, and didn't get around to starting a podcast. And now that I've got it started, I'll continue to work it, and I'll get everything up and running during the course of this week. And by next Monday, I hope that, we'll actually have a couple of people in here to talk with, and something as far as a finished product that is worth saving on YouTube. I got to see if how this one pans out, how it looks. I'll critique it as I'm eating dinner this evening. I'm having fried chicken, if you want to know. But yeah, I'll make adjustments during the course of the week. Each day it should be running a little bit smoother, and I should have more accomplished, and eventually get it up and running so that it can be presentable. The main thing I wanted is just let the chat know that I'm open to suggestion, whatever you guys want to do. I was thinking about putting in a tiered system for membership. I got the low set at $5. I was thinking about putting in a $10 tier and allowing people to clip and repost or post on other platforms. The only platform I'm going to do is YouTube. It's the only one I like. I don't like X or Twitter or any of the others. They all have their set of censorship and drawbacks. I think YouTube is probably the best, so that's the one I'm going to go with. But with that said, let's start winding this stream down, and then it'll give me time to go through and watch and see what all I got to correct for tomorrow's live stream. I will be back on 3 o'clock tomorrow, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm Ghost Mostly of Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. And I'll be here with you to host the chat room. If you're looking at me in high def, I apologize. But I ain't going to get looking any better. It's only downhill from here. So I hope you can understand. In the meantime, I'll tell you, please be nice to everybody. You'll like the end result. Okay? Be patient with one another. Take the time to help one another. And life will get good. If you have to, sit down and make a couple of lists. On one column, put positive influences on your life. The other column, negative influences on your life. And then consciously find more time for the positives and consciously find less time for the negatives. And it's just a matter of time, and that whole negative side, that list will be gone. All you'll have are the positive influences on your life. Sometimes it seems harsh. Sometimes people are negative influences on your life, and you have to find less time for certain people. But on the same token, sometimes people are positive influences on your life, and you can find more time for the positive. But just be nice and be safe and be happy. With that, I'll close this for today. I'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ghost Mosley signing off.